Hi, Emma. How are you doing? Did you have a nice weekend?
Hi, David. I had a fantastic weekend, thank you. It was very relaxing and a lot of fun. What about you?
My weekend was very busy. I had to help my parents with some work around their house, so I was working hard all day on Saturday.
Oh, that is a shame. You missed the big event in town then.
The big event? What was that? Did I miss something important?
You missed the annual Founders Day parade. It was on Saturday afternoon. It went right down Main Street.
Oh no! I completely forgot that was happening this weekend. I saw the posters for it, but it totally slipped my mind. I am so disappointed. Was it any good this year?
It was absolutely wonderful. It was one of the best parades I have seen in years. You really missed a great community celebration.
I am so sad I missed it now. You have to tell me all about it. What was the atmosphere like? Was there a big crowd?
The atmosphere was amazing. It felt like the entire town was there. The sidewalks along Main Street were completely full of people. Everyone brought their own folding chairs and blankets to sit on.
So it was a very popular event.
It was. There were so many families with young children, and everyone was in such a happy and festive mood. The weather was also absolutely perfect. It was a beautiful, sunny day, but not too hot.
That sounds like the perfect weather for a parade.
It was. There was a real sense of community spirit in the air. Everyone was chatting with their neighbors, the children were waving little flags, and there was just a wonderful, positive energy all around.
It sounds like the perfect setting. So tell me about the parade itself. How did it begin?
The parade started at exactly 1 o'clock, and it started with a lot of energy. The first group in the parade was the marching band from the local high school.
Our high school has a great marching band. They are very talented.
They were fantastic. They were all wearing their smart, formal uniforms, which are dark blue with gold trim. They looked so professional. And they were playing a very loud, upbeat, and energetic song that made everyone want to clap along.
I can almost hear it now. Did they sound good?
They sounded incredible. All the instruments were perfectly in time with each other. And the best part was their marching. They marched in perfect, straight lines, and all of their steps were completely synchronized. It was very impressive to watch. They set a very high standard for the rest of the parade.
A great marching band is the perfect way to start a parade. What came after them? Were there any big floats this year?
Yes, there were some amazing floats. A lot of the local community groups and businesses had created their own.
That is always the most creative part of the parade. It is fun to see what ideas people come up with.
It is. My favorite float this year was from the town gardening club. They had decorated a huge float to look like a beautiful secret garden. It was covered in thousands of real, fresh flowers. The smell was just heavenly.
The gardening club always does an amazing job. Their float wins a prize almost every year.
I am sure it will win again this year. There was also a very interesting float from the local historical society. They had recreated a scene from our town's history. People were dressed up in old-fashioned traditional costumes from the 19th century. It was like a history lesson on wheels.
That sounds very educational. So, you had a beautiful flower float and a historical float. What else? What about the big, noisy vehicles?
Of course, it would not be a proper parade without some big, noisy vehicles. The kids always love that part the most.
So, did the fire department participate this year?
They did. They had two of their biggest, shiniest red fire trucks in the parade. They were polished so much that you could see your reflection in them. The firefighters were waving from the windows, and they were turning on the sirens for a few seconds every now and then.
I bet the children in the crowd went crazy for that.
They were screaming with excitement. After the fire trucks, there was a procession of classic cars. The local Classic Car Club was showing off their beautifully restored vintage automobiles.
Oh, I loved that part. You get to see all the amazing old cars that you do not see on the road anymore.
Exactly. There was a beautiful Ford Mustang from the 1960s and a very cute little Volkswagen Beetle. They were all in perfect condition.
It sounds like there was a lot to see. Were there any other performers in the parade besides the marching band?
Yes, there were a lot of different groups walking and performing in the parade. It was very entertaining.
Like who?
There was a large group of young dancers from the local dance school. They were all wearing sparkling, colorful costumes, and they had a routine that they performed along the whole parade route. They were very talented and full of energy.
That is wonderful. It is so nice for local groups like that to have a chance to perform for the community.
I agree. There was also a group from the gymnastics club. They were doing amazing acrobatic tricks on the street. They were doing cartwheels and flips. It was very impressive.
Wow! Gymnastics on the hard street. That requires a lot of skill and bravery.
It does. Everyone was cheering very loudly for them. It really added a lot of excitement and action to the event.
It sounds like it was a very long and varied parade. There were so many different things to look at.
It was. I think it lasted for about an hour in total.
So, out of everything you saw, the band, the floats, the cars, and the performers, what was your absolute favorite part of the whole parade?
That is a very difficult question. It was all so good. Let me think for a moment.
There must have been one thing that made you smile more than anything else.
You are right, there was. I think my favorite part was a very simple and very funny group. It was the local dog walking club.
The dog walking club?
You mean it was just a group of people walking their dogs in the parade?
Yes, but it was so much more than that. Every single dog, and there were about 30 of them, was dressed up in a funny little costume. There was a bulldog dressed as a superhero, a poodle dressed as a princess, and a tiny chihuahua dressed as a hot dog. It was the most adorable and hilarious thing I have ever seen.
Dogs in costumes. That does sound very adorable and very funny. You are right. That would have been my favorite part, too.
It was pure joy. Everyone in the crowd was laughing and pointing at their favorite one. It really captured the fun and silly spirit of the day.
I am so sad I missed that. I love dogs in costumes. So, what happened after the parade was finished? Did everyone just go home?
No, the celebration continued. After the last float had passed, everyone walked down to the main town square for a small fair.
A fair? With food and games?
Exactly. The community had set up a few food stalls so you could buy classic parade food like hot dogs, popcorn, and my personal favorite, cotton candy.
Cotton candy is the ultimate fair food. It is like eating a sweet pink cloud.
It is. So we all stood around in the square, eating our snacks and talking with our friends and neighbors. It was a perfect way to end the afternoon.
It sounds like a truly perfect community day. It makes me feel very happy to live in a town that does things like this.
Me too. I think events like this are so important for a community. They have so many benefits.
What do you think the main benefit is?
I think the main benefit is that it builds a real sense of community spirit. It brings everyone together, from the very young to the very old, for a shared positive experience. It makes you feel proud of your town and connected to the people who live in it.
That is so true. In our busy modern lives, we do not often have the chance to just come together with our neighbors.
We do not. And it is also a wonderful platform for all the local groups. The school band, the dance school, the gardening club, they all get to show the whole town what they do.
It gives them a moment to shine and to be appreciated. This conversation has made me realize how important these simple traditions are.
I am glad. I was hoping I could share a little bit of the joy of the day with you.
You certainly have, but you have also made me feel even more sad that I missed it. I cannot believe I chose to fix my parents' fence instead of watching dogs in costumes.
Well, helping your parents is a very good and noble thing to do. They were probably very grateful.
They were. But I am making a promise to myself right now. I am not going to miss the parade next year. I am going to write it down in my calendar right now.
That is a great idea. You should definitely go. It is an experience that everyone in town should have.
I will. And you know what? I have another idea. We should go together next year.
I would love that. We could get there a little bit early and find the perfect spot on the sidewalk to put our chairs. We can be official parade-watching buddies.
It is a plan. Thank you for sharing your experience with me, Emma. It was the next best thing to being there.